Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a small plane crashed near Victoria East High School and Zach Lentz Parkway. We have the latest. One person was found dead after a house fire in Ganado last night. And Calhoun County Commissioners will meet Friday to discuss filling the county judge vacancy.
We have one more cold morning to deal with. We're getting down into the 30s again for tomorrow morning, but then we start warming up. In fact, it'll be in the 70s over the weekend and rather dreary because we're looking for light rain pretty much on and off. We'll talk more about that coming up in a moment.
Plus, new findings about the suspect in the New York murder of the United Healthcare CEO. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us. I'm Don Brubaker. A plane went down just after 3 p.m. this afternoon at the crossing of Zach Lentz Parkway and Mockingbird. A twin-engine piston Navajo plane took off from Victoria Regional Airport at 9:52 a.m. It made several circles, gaining and losing altitude between 10,000 and 14,000 feet. After 4 hours, the plane lost contact at 2:57 p.m. The flight, part of a survey mission by MarkFlightServices.com, covered routes across the U.S. The experienced pilot was traveling at speeds of up to 250 miles an hour. The plane was previously in the air on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Victoria police are on the scene redirecting traffic. Authorities are urging drivers to avoid the area until further notice. 25 News Now anchor Shauna Curry is on the scene. Shauna, what do you know at this point?
3, 2, 1. Yes, Don, we're out here at the intersection of Zach Lentz Parkway and Mockingbird. As you can see behind me, the scene is still very active. The entire intersection is shut down. There's at least 3 vehicles involved in addition to the airplane, and investigators are taking a look at everything in the scene to try to figure out what happened. Multiple local, state, and federal agencies will be out here well into the night, probably overnight, to be investigating the scene and find out what happened. This was a Piper PA-31 Chieftain twin-engine airplane. Reportedly had taken off from the Victoria Regional Airport just before 10 o'clock this morning, and it is registered to Mark Flight Services, which does oil, gas, utility survey work, and they specialize in surveillance projects. So I'm not sure what happened as far as needing or that ended up here on the roadway, but of course that's what investigators are trying to figure out. And I want to bring in Tony Poynor. He was an eyewitness to the accident and is going to share with us a little bit just kind of what he saw and kind of what happened. So tell us just kind of what the thoughts were running through your head.
Well, at first I thought the plane was going to hit me because you heard it over the top of my truck. It was down by Victoria Dodge, and then it shortly passed over the top of my roof. You saw the shadow on the wall, and then it passed by and it was still flying horizontally, but then it started wobbling about a quarter mile in front of me. And that's when I'm like, okay, let me haul ass up there and try to see what I can help out. Came to the scene at that time. Everything was sitting as it is now. Went right to the pilot, see if he was okay. He was still conscious, but was buckled in, unbuckled him. Couldn't get him out of the plane at that moment. Went around to the lady that was underneath the car, unbuckled her. She was unconscious, but moaning and blood all over her face. Couldn't get her out there because both doors were crushed at that point. So that was going to leave that up to the emergency response team. But it was definitely something that you don't expect to happen. You hear it happen. You hear where planes are going to, land nicely on the road. This did not happen at that point. So sad to hear that.
All right. Well, I'm glad everything is okay with you, and I appreciate you sharing with us just kind of what you saw as this happened. So we are going to be getting an update in just a moment from officials, so we'll have a few more details. But for now, Don, I'm going to send it back to you.
Shauna, thank you. Now, another video sent in by a viewer named Tiffany shows the moment in which her son Eli captured the plane going down as he walked home from school. Here is the video. He's walking home. It's along the feeder road on Zach Lentz Parkway. There you see the plane, and it is crashing right there at East Mockingbird Lane. Now, 25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman is also on the scene. And Amaya, what is the latest there? Okay, we hope to get back to her soon. Now, Victoria ISD released a statement advising student pickup will be delayed and possible diversions will be implemented due to the crash. So stay tuned. We will have more information as we get it on this crash. Small plane crash a little after 3 o'clock this afternoon at the intersection of Mockingbird Lane, East Mockingbird Lane, and Loop 463 Zach Lentz Parkway. We'll have the latest and more information also on our website, crossroadstoday.com. More news now. The state fire marshal is investigating a house fire in Jackson County with one fatality. The Ganado Volunteer Fire Department and Jackson County first responders were called to the house on FM 1157 around 10:20 last night. The house was fully engulfed in flames. They cleared the scene around 5:20 this morning. One person was found dead inside the house. Refugio County commissioners extended the burn ban in that county this week. They also banned certain fireworks in unincorporated areas. The fireworks banned are aerial skyrockets with sticks and missiles with fins. And there you see that. And this brings us to today's viewer poll. Here's the question. Do you think all fireworks should be prohibited under a burn ban? Yes or no? We thank you for voting so far, and we want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have the latest results tonight at 6. The Calhoun County Commissioners are set to meet Friday to discuss filling the county judge vacancy. Commissioners plan to meet at 3 p.m. Friday in a special meeting. Richard Meyer served as county judge for Calhoun County until he died earlier this year. Calhoun County Commissioner for Precinct 2, Vern Lissy, is serving as pro tem county judge. And now let's go to our chief meteorologist, first Warren Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez for the latest weather. Mac?
Thank you very much, Don. Obviously a busy afternoon in the news department. Well, folks, we had a beautiful day today, but it was chilly this morning. We got down to 31. Tomorrow we'll get another cold morning, but then lots of sunshine. But it's not going to last very long because overhead clouds out of the west and the low clouds from the south will make it a rather damp weekend. We'll have more on that coming up in just a moment. Don?
Mac, thank you. Right now, the city of Victoria is holding a news conference live on the plane crash there on East Mockingbird Lane and Zach Lentz Parkway. Let's go to that news conference now.
Upon arrival, officers observed a damaged plane with 3 damaged vehicles in the intersection. We are able to confirm that 5 people are involved and 4 have been transported. 3 were transported with non-life-threatening injuries, and 1 is being transferred to an out-of-town hospital for a higher level treatment. And the pilot is also being evaluated. The intersection of Mockingbird Lane and Zach Lentz Parkway feeder road will be closed until further notice. We will provide updates when possible. And I also want to mention that this has been a multi-agency response. We've had Texas DPS, Office of Emergency Management, TDM, FAA, NTSB, BCSO, and the fire department, along with city personnel who are all out here assisting with this incident. Follow us more on social media for updates because we will be letting you know when the roadway will be open, but it is going to be closed until further notice so that everyone that responds here can do their investigation and that we will make sure the outer perimeters are going to stay closed and so they can do that. Also know that for school, there will be signs out to let them know where they can enter and exit, but obviously this is all going to be closed down, so we'll make sure we have that access ready for them. And at this time, if you do have a few questions, we might be able to answer them, but just understand this is an ongoing investigation. And I also want to say that we are glad that it wasn't worse than what it is. This is not something we see every day, but we are glad that people seem to be okay and that they're getting checked out. Okay?
As far as traffic and for school, will there be officers directing traffic or something in place to ensure that traffic?
So we will push something out of the actual areas that are going to be closed, but just know that anyone that uses Zach Lentz or the feeder road, will have to use the alternate route to get to East High School, and we will have traffic control, or at least our traffic safety unit, monitoring that to make sure that traffic is flowing, because I know it'll cause some congestion. So we are aware of that. But just know that in the morning, people just need to be made aware they need to leave earlier so they can anticipate that there will be some delay.
I just want to confirm, you said 5 people involved, 3 non-live. What was that other one? I'm so sorry.
One is being flown out for urgent care, a higher level care for that person. And I do not have names of the people involved as of yet. Again, it is an active investigation. We have asked DPS to help us and is taking the lead in the investigation, and also with the FAA and the other agencies that are assisting.
Any reason why the plane, or like, was it in the middle of anything?
We don't have that information yet. We just know that it was something that was going very quickly, and then this is where we ended up finding them.
Okay.
Anybody else? Thank y'all. Just follow us on social media so we can give you those updates and give you what the road closures look like and any kind of detours, and then when it becomes open. Thank you.
You've just seen and heard a live news conference being led by Victoria Police Department Deputy Chief Elaine Moya. She said that the plane crashed right there at East Mockingbird Lane and Zach Lentz Parkway. 5 people have been transported to hospitals. 1 person has been transported to an out-of-town hospital. They did not go into any details about any names or the severity of the injuries. But keep tuned right here and also on our website, crossroadstoday.com, for the very latest on this. The suspect accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is fighting extradition to New York. Court documents show Luigi Mangione is charged with murder in that state. For now, he's in Pennsylvania, where he faces gun charges. While the court battle plays out, more is coming out about his views and background.
I've never seen him upset or angry.
Acquaintances and writings are offering new insight into the suspect charged with murdering the United Healthcare CEO.
An insult to the intelligence of the American people.
Multiple people who knew Luigi Mangione say he's bright and a fan of intellectual exchanges. An online blogger who corresponded with him repeatedly says he expressed varied political viewpoints. He says one of them was a belief in universal health care. Mangione's former roommate says they started a book club that, among other things, looked at the Unabomber's manifesto.
But nothing about it, I think, stood out more than other conversations that we had.
Most people who knew Mangione or his family seem surprised he's a murder suspect.
It just does not add up. It just seems a complete aberration.
I was just stunned, shocked, couldn't believe it. Not who you would think of at all.
Police also are reviewing writing they attribute to Mangione. They call a 3-page handwritten manifesto a, quote, claim of responsibility. A law enforcement source says they're also combing through a spiral notebook. In it, Mangione allegedly debates ways to kill someone. He reportedly rules out a bomb for fear of hurting innocent people.
He sort of says, in essence, what could be better than to, quote, kill the CEO at his own bean-counting conference?
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
An historic mansion in California was destroyed by a fire in the pre-dawn hours Wednesday morning. Authorities say an illegal burn was reported before flames completely engulfed Chico's Bidwell mansion. They are working to identify a person who was seen leaving the area before the fire ignited. The mansion is a California State Historic Park. It was built by Chico founder John Bidwell, with construction completed in 1868. Visitors can usually tour the home, but it had been closed during renovations. In a statement, Chico's mayor said this was a devastating loss for the city. Here's some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. Memorial Medical Center reports positive income for October, and Calhoun County nears completion of a solar light project. You can read these stories and more at portlavacawave.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us straight ahead on 25 News now at 5. Overdose deaths are down across the U.S., but they're still at historically high levels. The reasons behind the drop, experts and the White House weigh in. Also ahead, get ready for another record-breaking holiday travel season. AAA predicts millions will hit the roads and skies. We'll tell you what to expect and how to avoid holiday headaches. Drug overdose deaths in the U.S. are on a downward trend. As of July of this year, fatal overdoses were 17% lower than they were during the prior 12-month period. The CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, are reporting that, but despite the recent steep drop, CDC data shows drug overdose deaths remain as high as they were at the end of 2020. Medical experts say they cannot pinpoint a specific factor that explains why the number of drug overdose deaths has fallen since hitting a record high last summer. But they speculate a wide range of ongoing health-based efforts could be having an overall impact. On Wednesday, the Biden administration told reporters some of their policies, including battles against drug cartels, played a role in the decline. The end of year travel stretch is just around the corner, and AAA says Americans can expect a busy time in the skies and on the roads. Here's how to prepare now for smooth travels ahead.
Americans can expect lower gas prices and higher airfares compared to last holiday season, according to AAA. Their big end-of-year forecast should come as no surprise to anyone who traveled during the Thanksgiving period, especially at the nation's airports, as demand for travel continues to soar. Buckle up and get ready for crowded flights and roadways all over again.
Thanksgiving was a record setter, and here we are with the year-end holiday forecast, and we're projecting another record year.
AAA expects 119.3 million people will travel 50 miles or more during the holiday period between Saturday, December 21st and Wednesday, January 1st. And for the 107 million Americans expected to drive, gas prices will be lower than last holiday season. AAA spokesperson Aixa Diaz says there's a traditional drop in winter demand coupled with new trends.
A lot of people are working remotely over the holidays, not going into the office as much. That brings gas demand down. And a lot of people do their holiday shopping online. So you're not having as many people driving to stores as we used to in the past.
Government inflation data released Wednesday showed airfares up 4.7% year over year. Melanie Fish of Expedia says domestic fares were pretty reasonable ahead of the holidays, but now the clock is ticking.
If you haven't made your plans yet to go over the hills and through the woods to grandmother's house, you've got to get on it.
Fish also says air passengers haven't faced too many delays and cancellations this year, but notes it's winter now.
It is the holidays, so make sure you have all your travel apps downloaded so you're getting updates quickly. Keep it in a carry-on. It's going to save you so much of a headache if you're not searching for a lost suitcase. And be flexible. Make sure you're leaving yourself plenty of time once you get to the airport.
Air passengers should also keep in mind that new federal requirements state that U.S. airlines are required to give passengers cash refunds, not vouchers, if their flight is significantly delayed or canceled. The new rule, which also mandates that those refunds be processed automatically, took effect at the end of October. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
day. And before it finally warms up, all that in a moment. So as expected, we dipped down to freezing this morning. I hope you didn't leave your tender plants on the patio. We've got clear skies. Of course, what really helped get to the 30 is that the wind stopped. When the winds are actually flowing, rather brisk, the temperature just stays a little bit warmer because of movement. But when it stopped, then everything dropped in terms of temperature. High pressure today and tomorrow will give us some sunny days, but it's not going to last for very long. We got several things moving in our direction. We've got the big storm in the East Coast, another cold front coming down through. Now this is a real cold front coming down into the Midwest, high pressure over us. And on the West Coast, things are going to get busy as more Pacific storms are beginning to develop. Here you are again. We're looking at for about 38 to 36 in the city, maybe a drop or two lower than that, depending on where you are, because we do have cold valleys. And then the high tomorrow should get up to about 69, maybe 70 degrees. So we've got a lot of sun for tomorrow, another clear, cold morning. But then the afternoon warms up very nicely. By the time we get to, let's see, that would be Friday. Well, we start watching all these huge storms out on the West Coast. Not in the short term, but in the long term, they'll have something to do with this. Here's what we're looking for. By the time we get to, well, we're Thursday tomorrow, right? And we start seeing the cloud deck roll back in. So we'll get milder weather overnight, and then lots of cloudy, drippy skies, because you see here all this is just excess moisture in off the Gulf, and because of the cool ground that it's going to go over, we're going to get a little light rain. So this is what I call winter rain. It's very light, almost like last weekend, and then it'll be like that all the way through Sunday. Sunday night, a cold front blows in, and that will blow a lot of that away. Will it get much colder? And the answer is not the next one, okay? We look at Friday. You see how the overcast and the light rain will develop over our area. Then we get, steady showers pretty much over the weekend. And then finally, when we get to Sunday night, the front starts moving into the far western states. And then by Monday, it blows through here and blows that away. But it's only going to drop the temperature maybe 10 or 12 degrees. It's not a huge cold front by any stretch of the imagination. So let's see if we can see your day planner. We start off cold in the morning, go partly cloudy by afternoon, and get up to 67 down along the coast. In Cuero, you're looking at a cooler low temperature, getting down to mid-30s, and then getting up to 67 by afternoon. By afternoon, you'll feel that south wind coming back in, and that's going to make it, shall we say, a little bit milder. So we're looking for warmer weather as we get to the weekend. Look at that, 70s after one more cold night, and then nights will not be as cold, but it's going to look rather drizzly with light rain on and off until Monday, when that front comes through. We may have a little bit more significant rainfall. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads a day on your phone, and we'll toss it back to Don.
Mac, thank you. And now for more on our top story tonight. A small plane crashed into the intersection of East Mockingbird Lane and Zach Lentz Parkway. This happened a little after 3 o'clock this afternoon in Victoria. 25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman is at the scene. Amaya, what is the latest?
Yes, Don, thank you. We just heard from Deputy Chief Elaine Moya that the intersection right in front of Victoria East will be closed until further notice. We don't have any additional details about it, but the intersection right in front of Victoria East High School will be closed. Now, for the parents, the only way for them to get to the school, if you're dropping off your kids, you will have to come down Mockingbird from John Stack Barrow. The only way, and they will have also police or deputies or people that have signs out that will direct their parents to get their students to school. But to further notice, the intersection will be closed.
All right, Amaya Norman live on the scene. Amaya, thank you. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, inflation ticks up again, driven by food and energy prices. We'll tell you what the core numbers reveal. That's after the break. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow is down 98 points. The S&P 500 is up 49 points. The Nasdaq is up 348 points, and oil is up $1.75 to $70.33 per barrel. Inflation is moving in the wrong direction. Consumer prices jumped up 2.7% for the 12 months ending in November. The Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index data was released Wednesday with those numbers. On a monthly basis, prices for commonly purchased goods and services rose 0.3%. The biggest driver came from food and energy, but those categories are often the most volatile because of weather and disease. To get a better sense of inflation trends, economists and policymakers look at core readings that exclude food and energy. That measure is held firm at 3.3%, a level it's held since September. And we'll be right back with more right after this.
Yes, sir. Well, another cold morning. We'll be down into the 30s tomorrow morning, but then sunny skies and warmer weather as we get into the weekend. In fact, what's going to happen is the Gulf air is going to roll back in. We're going to be on the cloudy and damp side. I wouldn't call it a significant rain, but it'll be kind of rainy for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Now, Monday is the next cold front, and that will have a little bit more rain, but it's not a huge cold front. It's no Arctic blast by any stretch of the imagination. Don, toss it back to you.
Thank you, Mac. And once again, our top story tonight, a small plane crashed in Victoria this afternoon. It was at the intersection of Zacklands Parkway and East Mockingbird Lane. 4 people have been taken to hospitals. That's all we know at this point. And we'll have more on our website, crossroadstoday.com. We'll see you back here for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is next.